Okay, so we are going to. It is
2020.
What is it? January 2020. Jesus, 2020.
That's crazy.
Especially with their 3 shit. So.
And 2, yeah. And the 2, 2020.
Yeah.
2020.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm so confused if that has to do with like girls from Motley Crue or something or whatever. Because Nikki, you do know that Nikki Sixx lived 2 houses down from me.
That's what you said. That's
crazy. The bass player for Motley Crue lived 2 houses down. He at one point asked to borrow a wrench. I was 16. He was probably like 30 or something, right? He came over. I was under my car, working on my car. I wanted to borrow a wrench, and then another thing. He after that, he was a little. I guess he warmed up a little. He did like this O.J. Simpson-y. He had like a white Bronco. I think it was white, maybe black. I thought maybe it was black. And he comes up the street and he passes the house and he kind of swerves at me.
Really?
And then veers off. And then after this, my brother puts I swerve and hit people at random on his license plate frame for some reason. Maybe my brother did it before that. I'm not sure. Right. And the world's running around saying Kevin swerves and hits people at random with his car.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Jeez, I didn't. Okay.
That's just one of the things. So like I've had people in the subway like harassing me. And I go like, here's a card. And he goes, I'm trying to do this. Don't swerve at me or things like that, right?
Weird.
And he's alluding to my brother's license plate frame.
Right.
So remember, all these conversations that we talk about are other people doing shit.
Right.
And saying it's Kevin.
Right.
Right. And then it's Kevin's a violent paranoid schizo. So you just see the connected events.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyways.
I didn't realize all those things were connected too. Yeah, with Nikki Sixx and stuff.
But yeah, so that's. Now, I never thought about it. I never connected those dots back then. I mean, this is way after 29. I'm looking back going, what the fuck is going on? I mean, I even had some guy flicking me off today. Really? After getting a coffee.
Why?
Well, okay, so he's the same thing, how they're trying to turn things around. I mean, like he's, I go in to get a coffee, people are showing up, the green and blacks are showing up today. There's even a green and black. This is in Woodland Hills. There's even a girl with black pants, green shirt waiting downstairs at Zoza.
Really? Okay.
Right? And we're in Thousand Oaks now. I'm in Thousand Oaks now, so you understand this isn't a couple people by my house. And cars are there, backwards and twos. Cars are showing up in backwards and twos and all the other things. And there's 2 cars backwards. One guy's waiting and one of them's just kind of waiting for me.
That's a thing, yeah.
And why is he? Would you know why he's waiting for me, sitting in his car?
Well, they want to get a reaction from you.
Correct. The passive aggressive provokings.
Right. Yeah, that's. And last week you said that girl was waiting in that Mustang, right? Or the Jeep.
Yeah, I mean there were actually 2 or 3 waiting in the lot, and I mean I have videos come back from Hollywood. There might be 100 people a night waiting in different parking lots for me backwards with their lights on at night and things like that, and this never stops. The tactics change. That's one of these thousands of tactics.
Have they ever gotten out when you were close to them or no?
Not usually, because they try to keep it stealth. Sometimes, like if I'm videoing, they don't do it anymore because they learned that they can't thug me quiet. But they used to sort of either get out of their car. If I'm driving through a parking lot, they're doing this, and I'll video it. I'll talk into my camera.
Yeah.
They don't like that. They don't want the proof.
Right.
And so maybe they'll get out with a mean look or something like that. Okay. A lot of times they used to get in their car and actually follow me.
Really?
And then I would call the police. Hey, guys, following the car. Oh, whatever. We don't have time. Blah blah. Because they knew. Right. Or they try to spin it that Kevin's provoking these people.
By driving in your car.
By taking pictures or videoing. Remember when you were in my car taking pictures and I said, Brittany, now you're a criminal like me.
Yeah. Right. So you're doing nothing wrong, basically.
Correct. I'm getting evidence of a murder operation to have me killed.
Right.
The police are telling him to do it when the police won't help you.
Right. If somebody's following you and they're telling you.
Correct. When someone's following us, well, are you taking pictures? Do you have a camera? Well, they didn't say it, but they either allude to it or they, right?
If somebody's following you, you should
it doesn't matter if I'm taking pictures. No. I'm allowed to take pictures, especially if the fuckers hunt me down to kill me.
Right, exactly.
Right, just like Allied Universal Security saying you committed a crime because you took a picture on private property. Well, no. I'm allowed to take pictures. Especially if someone or a group of people are trying to kill me. Someone, where was this? This was like maybe 3 months ago. Someone says, I video. I do what I always do. I video when I go buy something, and I come out, and it's like, and they're harassing with the repetitive cryptic terror tactics. I pick up the camera, and go, you're on fucking video, blah blah. Oh, and they had a security guard staring at me through the glass window, trying to intimidate me at the same time. And I just started videoing the whole thing.
Right.
He said, well, I don't give you permission to use it. And I said, I don't need your permission. I'm not making money.
Right.
And you're accessory to attempted murder.
Right.
There's no permission here. You can't hunt down and try to kill people and then, oh, well, you can't use the video of me trying to lodge a hatchet in your skull because I don't give you permission.
That's just
this isn't
ridiculous.
This isn't HBO here. Or,
it's not for profit.
Right, okay. I'm not Hollywood here making a movie. I'm out in public and you're trying to fucking kill me.
Right.
And you're on video. You're an accessory to fucking attempted murder.
Mm-hmm.
There's no, first of all, it's newsworthy.
Right.
Because in news, if it's a crime, there's no, oh, I give you permission, you're involved in the fucking, you waive your rights.
Exactly.
But second of all, it's worthy to go to the police or put up on my website or any other website going, these people are hunting me down to have me killed.
Right.
Period.
Absolutely.
And so their thought process is, I want to say just completely moronic, but they know better.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So was there an original topic or question that we were talking? You asked if someone got out of the car, whatever.
Oh, right? Yeah. I was thinking about that one couple, but I guess they were walking to their car or something.
Which one?
The pink shirt and the guy. And
with the girl that had her Corvette out here that followed me here?
No, it
the
was
transvestite?
No, not her. I remember who you're
No,
talking
well,
about
she was in the coffee bean, and then the girl and the guy came up.
Yes.
They're staging this thing. So she was something back in the 80s or who knows. Mm-hmm. Like some transvestite model singer or something. Mm-hmm. Angelique or something. I don't know who she was.
One? Is she blonde, right?
Yeah.
With a fluffy
with
coat
a pink Corvette.
Yeah. She does. She stays out here.
Okay.
I've seen her Corvette.
I oddly see her at weird locations. I don't know why.
I remember in Woodland Hills.
But they play this game for years in Woodland Hills, like I'm following her and I'm doing this to her.
Right.
The only thing I don't want to say done, but the only connection between this event is that I go to a lot of coffee shops, or used to.
Right.
And I've seen her at Coffee Bean.
Right.
There's nothing more than that, like every other situation.
No,
and they're, like usual, putting these fictional, remember I was talking about creative writers last week, putting these fictional stories to instantly go to the world called propaganda, defamation, slander, libel. The world, I'm somehow doing something to this girl.
You're doing nothing.
So remember that whole situation was staged.
Right.
Or they were waiting for me. Cops were waiting for me. She was waiting for me.
Right.
I go into the coffee, I'm talking to the camera now. I'm not going to point the camera in a direction. I'm going to point it towards the wall. Security follows me. The security guard tries to throw her body in front of my car, yelling I'm a weirdo.
Oh, was that
That was the same event.
Okay.
They were all connected. Within minutes, within 15, 20 minutes. And the day before, there was other things at a different Starbucks with the gas station on Oxnard and...
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Okay, so these were connected police events. Mm-hmm. Right? She's in there talking to a guy.
Yeah.
I sit down. I'm only there for 5 or 10 minutes, sipping on some coffee.
Right.
I'm talking to the camera right before I go in. I'm not going to talk to anyone. I'm just going to mind my own business. I'm going to stare at my feet to prove... that no matter how passive I am, people keep coming after me that I don't even know in mass coordinated groups. And what was it? I walk out, the touristy couple playing stupid. Oh, is she there? Just asking these interrogating setup questions.
Weird. Yeah.
And then I hand them a card. They start getting angrier and angrier. The cryptic passive-aggressive provokings come out in their language.
Right.
They keep trying to get the answer that I'm following her, doing something to her. Mm-hmm. All I did was stop by. I'm a random. I'm just going to stop by today and get some coffee.
Right.
I narrate it all like usual. I hop in my car, start to leave. The security guard starts following me, screaming at the top of her lungs across for 50 yards, following from place to place. Like, remember, absolutely nothing was done, like usual. Not even close. The only thing that could have been done is like, maybe I got out of my car and yawned and that offended someone somehow and there's a worldwide campaign to kill me, or maybe sitting sipping coffee, maybe I blinked incorrectly. I mean, things that
ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like maybe there was a .001 sigh in my voice I mean, things that a psychotic murderer, like if you're walking down the street with your friend and you accidentally step on a leaf and it goes crunch or something, all of a sudden a pickaxe starts lodging in your skull going, you know what you did.
Right.
I mean, you don't know what you did because people walk down the street and they step on leaves and nobody cares, right?
Exactly.
Okay,
yeah.
So you just remember that when my brother's trying to make little movies called Psychos with me in it when I'm 12 years old.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Darren Moselle holding a knife up to my throat saying, let's make him the 5th member of the Bee Gees or whatever. To turn out, they're actually trying to make it look like I conform to their little movie and shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Good grief. I didn't realize.
Yeah. I mean, that event in itself wasn't traumatic or anything, but finding out that there's actually a worldwide campaign to kill me, somehow trying to incorporate that with the psychology community.
Right. That's crazy. I mean, hey, it could have been freaky. I mean, I might have been freaked out if someone had a knife to my neck.
Well, but we were making a little movie. It's not like someone ran up.
Well, yeah, it's different.
I mean, it's not even a real movie. It's some kids with a video camera this big in the 80s and
you didn't think anything of it at the time, obviously.
No, I was a little surprised. Like, that is a little aggressive because it wasn't choreographed.
Okay, it was like just freeform, kind of?
Yeah, and then at the same time, my brother like bashed Tom Farley's skull in with a crowbar, but he was wearing a motorcycle helmet, and he was like, bam! And he's like, ow! You know, like,
Good grief.
It wasn't the I'm going after Greg Waugh incident where I jumped in front of the crowbar, but Greg didn't have a helmet and they're not videoing, but I was like, damn, dude, I'm like, you just fucking hit him in the head with a crowbar, right? It's like,
that's a little nuts.
I
mean,
like, he knew he had a helmet, but it's still pretty fucking aggressive if you're not planning it out.
Yeah, absolutely. It's unexpected.
Yeah.
Hitting the head with a crowbar.
You know, I never ran around saying my brother's crazy because he hit
Tom
Farley in the head with a motorcycle while making the movie Psychos, but I did I never ran around at all up until 29 saying my brother's crazy. I just said, you know, he's a little out there with his weird shit. I thought he got all over it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
His road rage shit and this and that. And I was the opposite. I'm just positive things. I'm going to build cars and this and that. My only crime was like, well, I sped on the streets a little.
Who hasn't?
And there's a worldwide campaign to kill me over that. Doesn't make sense.
No.
But all the things he did.
No, it doesn't make sense.
But what he's trying to do is say, this was Kevin.
Right.
Yeah, okay,
Which
so...
it never was. Any of that.
Yeah.
Like the complete opposite. Like
correct.
you stepped in between. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go to some notes. Because it's already... Okay, the first thing I was thinking about in the last couple of days is the connection, and this might or might not be, this might be hit or miss. Okay, I've sort of mentioned this a lot, talking to people, probably talking to you, that all this links down to being born on Castle Creek Air Force Base.
Right.
A father who's a doctor on an Air Force base at Castle Creek Air Force Base, Merced, California, built in 1941, Pearl Harbor. There's 100 million references about my name, Perlman, and me being crazy and anti-Semitic or to the Jewish religion. Well, these are all things that link into Adolf Hitler and Jewish community and religion, all going back to 1977, the movie Wizards, which we watched. I had Brittany watch the movie Wizards, so you understood the Nazi references that Ralph Bakshi has the evil wizard Black Wolf project to stun all the good people with Nazi imagery using footage from news footage or whatever from that time. Okay, so all these things are to try to make me look crazy and make me look like I conform to media. That being said, at 5 years old, we move out here to Woodland Hills, California, on Tierra Street, where I mentioned the throwing the mud in the street. My family's going, our son's a crazy, violent, paranoid schizo because he threw some mud in the street and hit a car.
Right.
Okay, well, who the fuck would care?
Right, accident.
Like, why obsess on this thing if it's the end of the world? Oh, that's what it is. Sorry, jump back. So this morning, getting coffee, leaving the parking lot, there's 2 cars backwards. There's a guy waiting in one of them. I'm standing in the parking lot videoing everything, like doing a 360 and videoing and talking to the camera. I get in my car, I leave, I'm videoing him in the car, and he flicks me off.
Really?
Yeah, and so that was the whole fuck you.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's
But-
how you started the combo.
But who has initiated it with worldwide support and...
Right.
Right, why is he mad at me? He's
No
following me
reason.
there, he's waiting there, he's working mental illness tactics with worldwide support,
Mm-hmm.
but he's mad at me. Okay, so anyways,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I have to use the restroom at some point soon.
okay.
So should I
So-
go right now?
No,
before
let me
we
just
get
finish
into
this
it?
topic.
Okay. I'm so
I'll make
sorry.
you hold it.
I'm sorry.
Okay, and seriously, talking about people, no offense, Brittany,
No, you're fine.
that need to be checked out with doctors for like bladder issues. I think Brittany here.
I've
Okay,
always
so
had it, yes. It's always been a thing. I'm really
okay,
sorry.
so just joking.
No, it's fine.
Where was I?
Air Force Base
Air
and then
Force
the guy
Base.
flipping you off.
Okay, so the whole Nazi tactics, we talk in several videos that the resources, the billions of government
Right.
resources on me, linking with my father's secondary psychology degree, I can't specifically tell you what's going on with the government psychology community, NSA, FBI, Kevin's the next Vegas shooter,
No.
childhood flagging and profiling, we think Kevin's the next Ted Bundy, whatever.
Right.
But, and like I said, this is either hit or miss. How does Terrence Scroggins fit into this? With Greg Koenig in number 2. Wait. Yeah, he's in 1. Scroggins is in unit 1. Koenig is the guy you saw in video cramming shit in my car and
Okay.
vandalizing my car for like 10 years straight.
Mm-hmm.
And the threats, hey, is that marijuana? Because he saw me with a cigar. Well, you better not smoke marijuana. Like these types of, almost like paid off by my family.
Right.
Like, why do you care if I smoke marijuana, right?
Right.
And I've even had girls sent after me from Arizona when I was in college, Christina Stalinsky. She finds out, typing to her on IRC, that I was hanging out with my friends and I smoked some weed. So after that, my family's running around with her and the government saying I'm addicted to marijuana because I told her,
That you smoke some weed.
yeah. Okay, you get the things that
Yeah,
don't make
it's
sense.
ridiculous.
And then at 29, them having the police, LAPD, having Rody Morales try to plant
Right.
a trash bag full of marijuana in my house to make me look like a drug dealer, all because I smoked weed in college.
It doesn't make any sense.
No, it's
ridiculous.
insane. Okay, so what is the connection? I thought about this last night. Terrence Scroggins is military. He's
Oh,
vet.
shit. Okay.
So on the stand he says I'm an ex-vet and blah blah blah, despite the anger management and all of the
Right.
being contacted by Dincy. And remember, Dincy's being paid off or contacted by my father.
Right.
Okay, police would come to my father's office at Golden State Sports Medical while they're doing the same things, just like we've seen in this parking lot. Right? You're watching the entire parking lot try to rid me of the world,
Right.
and the police come. Well, why aren't they concerned with?
You. And your
Why are they
safety.
concerned with what's going on in the parking lot? They're only concerned that I might react. Right?
They're not concerned about your safety.
Correct.
That's what I'm. Yeah.
So it shows that they have motive, because they would stop it. Okay, so I can't say anything else than that, but we've talked about these are NSA level and $1 billion invested through the government to exterminate me. Scroggins is military, ex-military, or vet, veteran, whatever. Army, could be Army.
Right.
Father, Air Force Base, up until I was 5 years old.
You lived there for 5 years. I didn't realize.
Yeah.
That. Okay.
I can't remember any of it.
Yeah.
There's probably a direct connection
Mm-hmm.
between my father's roots, Terrence Scroggins, the police,
Right.
and I can't really go further than that.
Mm-hmm. But
It's definitely food for thought to understand that these are military kill operations.
Right.
Going through with the psychology community and flagging and profiling. We think this person's the next Columbine or whatever, right?
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And to sum it up, if it was the next Columbine, why is Mr. Quigley in 10th grade telling me
Right.
to punch Paul Schaefer and me saying no when he pushes me over in the desk or whatever?
Ridiculous.
If I'm going aggro,
Right.
then I'm going to do it on my own.
Right. Instead of him like
Yeah.
instigating and telling you to.
Yeah. Okay, so Brittany, you are free to pee. Okay, so Brittany.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, I'll be back.
The last time I saw Shane was, let's say 6 years ago or something.
Okay.
I mean,
And do you know how old he is, or roughly?
I think he might be around 19 now, and I heard, I don't know what's true, but I heard he went to medical school or something, or to college to go to study for medical school, and
Interesting.
I was thinking, oh gee, surprise, like,
Right.
yeah, you know, don't deviate from that template in my family or you're a fucking dead man, right? It's like, but,
It looked like a younger kid, so I was wondering.
I can't tell you. It almost looked like someone from the Elephant Institute or something,
Really?
like with this thuggish. It could have been a neighbor. I mean, okay, the first thing you have to sort of understand is, how did my father get past the gate?
I don't know.
Okay, originally he scammed me out of the keys when I bought the place. Okay, what happened was, he wants me to come back. We're going to actually get to this in the next topic. He wants to come. They're all manipulating me back from University of Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Huntley is putting on the peer pressure. Let's start a company. Internet host provider. My mother's saying, you know, just walk the graduation and finish your 2 Spanish classes. What is it? Spanish? There's a Spanish class and a history class I needed to retake, and they wanted a 3rd requirement. When I went to Southern Oregon State College, they said 2 years of Spanish from high school is okay. I transferred to University of Colorado. We want a 3rd year of Spanish. This was kind of weird, actually.
I had to do that with French, actually, too.
Okay.
In college, yeah.
So hanging over my head on almost completing everything was a history class, art history class I got a D in, which is weird to me because I fucking knew it backwards and forwards.
That is weird.
And
you still passed?
Well, you know, I was always a shitty test taker. Like, even if I knew things, I'd always get, like, C's and B's. My brother would chug beers and get A pluses and shit. Okay, so...
Okay.
You know, even if I wanted to follow in my family's footsteps, I don't have the educational aptitude get all those A's and 4.0s and shit.
Was it hard taking tests, or was
for me? Yeah, whatever. Everyone says, Kevin, you're brilliant. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about, but for me, a scholastic education or whatever was very difficult. I had to just study my fucking brains out, and I can recall taking 5 or 6 classes a semester and going, I'm just completely, and I have really bad reading comprehension, so I read really slowly. And so I had to drop, and I can remember at one point trying to drop 1 or 2 classes, and I even remember women freaking out because I dropped the class.
Really?
Trying to make it about them.
Weird.
Yeah, and that's kind of like the story of my life. It's like these surrounded by narcissists, right? And I didn't even know them, right? It was like maybe I flirted with them and they sat kind of close to me or something. That's it, right? But and you drop a class and it's all about them, like
really
like you
weird.
did something to them or something. But whatever. It was just very difficult. And then I had all the things I didn't know was going on. The students sent to try to set me up or make it look like I'm doing this or get false confessions, or teachers, art writing teachers, just they'd read my paper and try to make it look like I'm crazy and too sensitive because they didn't like the topics. And and I'm not picking up on the psychological profiling. I'm just sort of
experiencing it.
What's the word? Like I'm just interacting like you normally would. Like I write an art paper about how electronic media, the new technology, will never be, as far as perception, seen like you would if you're standing in front of the Sistine Chapel or a sculpture of David or this or that. Yeah. Because it's digital and on a flat screen, and even though the work of art might be magnificent, I mean, the things that are done in 3D animation and visual effects are just incredible. The amount of talent, but they're still not looked at, even to this day. I mean, I hit the nail on the head back then.
You did. It's not the same.
As walking into an art gallery and staring up at, like, the sculpture of David or any sculpture or any artistic piece because it's on a digital screen. And even if it's printed and put on canvas, it still doesn't have the depth paint of of oil or acrylics or whatever, or oils if you build them up.
Yeah, it's different.
Okay, so
for sure.
so that doesn't seem like a big deal to me.
No. It's
so
true.
okay, now everyone read your paper in class. God, Kevin, you're just too sensitive about this and blah blah. And I wasn't crying when I was reading the paper or anything. I just read the paper.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Correct. And then my sculpture class, Naughty Carrie, she called herself Naughty Carrie. And actually she was linking herself back to Carrie and Kelly Hatch in Southern Oregon State College. I didn't make the connection. Mm-hmm. And I think they're sort of linking it to movie references, like the movie Carrie, like kind of What's Done to My Life.
Right.
Minus the psychic.
Right.
Kill shit. Okay, so,
that's,
lock Kevin in a bubble, a box, a cage. Okay,
so in your sculpture class, you said?
So sculpture class, one of my sculptures was a tin head. Okay, so I took one, they got mad at me because I did a negative of my face, and then I think somehow the idea came possibly because Kelly Hatch told me about doing a shining, and I want to try that or whatever.
That's cool. It seems cool anyway.
I can't remember what I did with the thing, but I did a negative. You have to make a mold and whatever. Okay, so that wasn't big. But the next thing I did, I took a mannequin head. I did a clay thing around the mannequin head. It was a female one. Mm-hmm. I put those tin salad bowls?
Yeah.
I took one of those and then I put it like a metal plate head, kind of like the Lyle character with a little metal plate.
Okay, cool.
And then I wired up blinking LEDs and grabbed the soldering iron, did a little blinking robotic head thing. Okay, cool. So then comes critique, and it's all about how because the mannequin head is female, it portrays me as being controlling.
What?
Yeah. Now, remember, these are harmless critiques, supposedly.
No, that's weird.
But it is a little off the wall.
I would be like,
I mean, listen, you're free to say it in a critique, but
that's
it really shouldn't go past that room. You know what I'm saying?
It's just that's not like a unbiased critique.
Well, it's very... Look, I'm not saying that people shouldn't say it. What I'm saying is, it is kind of off the wall from... Why is that the first thought in her head?
Right, exactly.
Why not? Weird. Oh, cool, I see a female role. If I watch the movie AI or whatever, I'm not like... The producer is a controlling freak, right? I'm going it's about robots.
It's so weird. I would be like, huh? I'd be confused by that critique. Just saying. Why is that the first thought in your head? Yeah.
So it was all about Kevin's controlling. And remember, we have comments from Tom Farley, Kevin, you can't control people.
Right.
Tom wasn't even there. Tom was at Clemson. First he was at UOP Stockton, and I'm pretty sure that was intentional for the little schizo references. Mm-hmm. And why can't you just go? That's a cool robot. Now, let's talk about the making. Not that anyone really should give a shit. Well, I just went to a fucking random place and found the first styrofoam mannequin head I could find. I wasn't, this is college. I wasn't under a $1 million movie budget here with, okay, these are quick projects.
Right.
Okay, then the next thing is, she said I don't remember exactly what the project was, the criteria was, but she wanted us to go out and do something. Mm-hmm. And so Chad Bowers, remember one of the dudes in jail just recently was talking about Norland Library at University of Colorado, trying to guilt me.
Okay.
I met Chad Bowers doing IT at Norland Library, where I first started chatting on IRC County Jail, where they started sending all these women after me on IRC. I became friends with Chad Bowers. Little did I know all these weird freaky things were going on.
Right.
I take a photography class, a film photography class in 96, 97. Chad Bowers borrowed my Canon AE1. My brother sends in Mike Wexler, his friend in Colorado. They're mad at me for taking pictures. Kevin's abusive. He's spying on people. He's violating people with cameras. I'm just trying to take a fucking
picture.
We go on road trips. Kevin, you're not allowed to take pictures of people or something like that. The same things we're seeing from Allied Universal Security and weird shit like this.
So weird.
Right?
People take pictures of people every single day.
Correct. And it gets even deeper where Mike Wexler was working on lockpick angles and
On
trying
what?
to set me up for statutory rape with Lynn Junkin.
I remember
Lockpick, like he would tell me how he used to pick locks with lockpicks.
Oh, like literal.
And then he would tell me that it's okay to hit homeless people walking in the street because you have the right of way and things like this. Just trying to get me to say things
Right.
with my brother and my family to use against me, to say Kevin's crazy and we need to lock him away and shit.
Right. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Sorry, I dropped my lid.
Um,
so I'm searching.
So the next project, I don't know the exact criteria, but Chad Bowers says let's dig a hole in the forest. Like a little hole for it. I don't even fucking... now that I think about it, it's like the stupidest thing known, man. She's like, that's the best project. And I think what she was trying to do is hint that like maybe I buried a body or something. I killed someone, because think of all the connected events. They send a girl into the painting class in a wheelchair. Like this incredibly hot girl in a wheelchair.
Really?
And she wants to paint next to me. There's a whole sub thing of people in wheelchairs coming after me and girls wanting me to buy them mopeds and my father with mopeds. Well,
Serious?
think about the schizo literals.
Right.
Like plowing someone and taking off their legs.
Right.
Okay,
Oh,
so
great. Okay.
we have Rhodey Morales and the police saying I killed someone, and Rhodey hinting about cars and driving.
Wasn't he the one that had done something like
He's
that?
the guy that tried to plant he wanted me to go to all the strip clubs, the fourth guy in each state that wanted me to go to all the strip clubs, that Mike Huntley sort of got me weaseled. He was my gym manager, and then he wanted me to go to all the strip clubs with him, and we did. He befriends me.
Right.
And then it's some stalking strippers and this and that. He's working with people like Victoria Walker and all these people that aren't connected directly.
Right.
All linking to Brian Longbottom from Universal Studios, a modern video film, where it gets even weirder.
Right.
And then in the end, he tries to plant a trash bag full of marijuana, and the police are running around saying I'm in my house, and the police are trying to say I'm a drug dealer, and that all links from Christina Stolitsky from Arizona when I lived in Colorado. Well, I found I smoked weed in college.
Right.
And everyone's smoking weed in college. Everyone's doing fucking
Right.
shrooms, acid,
Whatever they can get their
uppers,
hands on.
downers. But nobody cares. But Kevin smokes a joint once, and it's like fucking
End of the world.
the end of the world. You're the president of the United States. You need to die.
Fucking
Don't you
ridiculous.
feel that you have a responsibility to the people? The people. You
Oh.
won't admit that I'm known fucking worldwide, so you say I'm crazy. So
Right.
it can't be this way, or it can't be somewhere in the middle that doesn't exist in a twilight zone. I'm either known worldwide, and you need to deal with why and the issues.
Yeah.
And if I'm brilliant and have to be this responsible Einstein, president of the United States character, then you need to tell me what's going on and why and the context and this. You can't
No.
say you're a nobody that nobody knows and you have to be 100,000 times more responsible than the president of the United States,
No.
or you're a bad person. That doesn't make sense.
Not at all.
Yeah, so it's about you do what we tell you,
Right.
or we inflict horrific pain.
Right.
Okay, so
Ugh. Yeah.
how did we even get on this?
We were talking about your art class, your potter.
Yeah, so
What was
digging
it?
holes for yourself. I don't even know. Okay, so, but that was her favorite project. But she was linked to Kelly Hatch and in Southern Oregon State College and Carrie,
Crazy Carrie?
Naughty Carrie.
Naughty Carrie. Oh, my bad.
And, no, that was actually her. Her name was, I think, Naughty, like N-A-D-I or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think it
Okay.
was N-A-U-G-H-T-Y,
Like
but
Nadia or something?
could be, but she kind of played it off. She was
Naughty
talking
Kelly.
about jumping in the University of Colorado River, and like.
Right.
Okay, so.
Oh my gosh.
But she was playing off Kelly Hatch's friend from Southern Oregon State in the dorm that was next door in the dorm next door to her. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so. And even in jail now, we had the whole dorm thing with
Right.
the guy hinting about Kelly Hatch and them trying to guilt me about Kelly Hatch, like I did something to Kelly Hatch. And,
Right.
Okay, so.
Ridiculous.
Okay, so back on topic here. We talked about Scroggins. Let's talk about Janet Nordet, because this is very important.
Okay.
Okay, Janet Nordet,
Is she on here?
I wrote it on the paper at the bottom here.
Janet Scroggins. Oh, it's two separate topics. I was thinking there was a somebody named
I was
Janet
driving
Nordet.
over and I didn't have it typed out. And I said, this is more important.
Okay.
And you'll figure this out instantly why.
Okay.
Okay, so I was talking about my father with Mike Huntley and my mother wanting to lure me back.
Yeah.
Right before graduating, finished my credits while starting a company with Mike Huntley. They all put on the peer pressure. Mike Huntley, Kevin, let's start this internet host provider. My father calls me up, Kevin, if you move here. First of all, remember, this is very important. I didn't call them up. These aren't my ideas.
Right.
Okay? This is their ideas. So when my father's saying that I came back from Colorado to hunt him down in anger and rage,
no, he wanted.
They
you to come
called
back.
me.
Right.
And they're working the same angle that when I graduated Southern Oregon State College, or not, when I transferred from Southern Oregon State College to University of Colorado, they're working the angle that I'm going after my brother in anger and rage. Except my brother already graduated.
Right.
Okay?
Ridiculous.
Then they manipulate me back to California, and then I'm hunting down my father. And they keep reeling me in closer and closer to my father in his office.
Right.
Even before I worked at my father's office for 14 years. Remember, Lorraine Escobar states that I somehow come into his office trying to take over the company. She came to me under my father's order saying, we want you to do the computer networks here.
Right.
She came to me. I moved back from Colorado to California when Mike Huntley called me up. I want to start a company with you.
Yeah.
My father said, for no reason at all, I didn't ask for a place to live. Kevin, you can live at my place for a year so he could try to spy on me and do freaky shit.
At the time, what did you think?
I just thought this is my family, and I love my family, and they're great, and they support me, and they're funding my college, and I love my family, and the best thing, and life's really hard for me, and everyone else is making it, and I was really thankful, and
grateful.
And I was kind of giving to everyone else because I was like, there's 80% people out there that have it worse than me, and they got to pay their own college, and they can't even make it to college, and whatever. They're working at coffee shops for fucking $8.25 minimum wage, and here I am, and I'm lucky enough that I can have I'm not saying like the best, greatest life in my $50 million mansion or anything here.
Right.
I'm just saying that there's a lot worse.
Yeah.
Until I find out. Okay, so
you were grateful initially, though. You were like super grateful, and like I love my family.
couldn't fucking imagine.
No, of course
what
you couldn't.
Was whatever you want to say, like bestowed on me, or
I don't like that. That sounds like a gift or something. It's not.
Yeah, it's not a gift.
Like,
what I was about to find out. It's kind of like, if we want to play fantasy fiction, it's like Luke Skywalker finding out his father's fucking Darth Vader or something. Okay.
Right. Exactly. Because yeah, you're like super grateful. Like this is who you are at your core. Like you give to other people. Like you're grateful for them, like helping you or whatever before you knew any different.
Yeah.
Like you love your family, they love you. You're grateful about it.
Yeah.
And felt fortunate. And then
you find out they're telling the world you're a violent paranoid schizo that needs to be eradicated with every resource on the motherfucking planet. Right. Billions of government dollars, and we're watching everything you do, and we're collecting everything you do, and we're twisting and contorting it out of context.
Right. And of course you'd never think that because how could you even fathom something like that?
Correct. And the way they're using the information is about to try to torture and kill. It's not just we have the information, which is disturbing enough.
Right.
We're using it as a weapon and not one person using it as a weapon.
Right.
Over the 7 billion people on this planet, there's a good 4 billion people actively involved to torture and kill me. I've witnessed that all day and night for 18 years, and I find out it's exponentially growing since 5 years old.
Right.
On a smaller scale until 94 when the internet comes around, and my brother wants me to see the internet.
Right.
I mean, and it's just like, you don't see anything wrong with what you're doing here. This 42-year worldwide witch hunt.
Right.
And people are just running around screaming, he's gonna hex me. And you're just
it's ridiculous.
It's
right. Yeah. It's like, how are so many people, I don't want to say under this spell, but like how are so many people convinced that you
I think it's just, we've actually had these conversations, but I think it's reinforced lies.
Right.
Like, let me give you an example. Have you ever watched the news?
Yeah.
And maybe you're watching like an opposing news channel, and you keep watching it over and over, and when you first watch it, you go, these people sound fucking crazy. And then the more you watch it, the more it sort of solidifies, and the more it
Right, like it
solidifies, and the more.
starts to make sense
And then
or
you sort of
something.
become like
Swayed.
a soap opera watcher,
Yeah.
and you start to sort of believe it.
Yeah.
But remember, you don't know behind the scenes what facts are being checked and
Exactly.
what's not being checked.
You like take it as truth. Basically.
Correct. So once they sort of create the foundation or base that Kevin Perlman is this evil monster, they start throwing on the new out of context arguments. The newer out of context. Okay, example: Kevin supposedly did horrible things to Kelly Hatch and tried to steal her car and tried to break into her room, and none of it exists.
No.
Okay, so we've now set the stage. But remember, there's no fact.
No.
It's all propaganda.
There's no evidence of any of that shit.
Correct.
there.
Now, Kevin he moved to Colorado, and there's a girl in his astronomy class that is kind of a goth lookalike like Kelly Hatch, and she just manages to move above Kevin Perlman, and she manages to leave her keys in the car in hopes I'll steal her car, just like Kelly Hatch's lies with her Jeep Cherokee. Of course, it doesn't work, but they're going to make up the lie. Okay, look, Kevin now tried to steal her car, and Kevin's stalking her.
Right.
Wait, there's two girls, and they're lookalikes? Oh, Kevin's crazy. Okay, now
They're piling
Kevin takes a
on the
photography class, and he's harassing people with his camera. Well, nothing happened in that photography class at all, like everything else.
layers. Right.
Um,
You're doing
but
normal things.
the fictional, out of context,
Wow.
creative writing is being written and is given out to the world.
Right.
Okay, now we have, 7 events that never happened, but the people, they don't know that. They believe the information because it's coming from FBI and NSA and
Right.
people in the psychology community and authority. Oh, well, Kevin just wrote this paper and he's hypersensitive about this issue, and
That's just ridiculous.
nobody would care about these things, but Kevin cares. Well, that's not the true story.
No.
Okay, so now we put this in there. Okay, so and everyone's watching this internet-based soap starting in '94. Before it was smaller circles getting the defamation, the slander, and propaganda. Now we have a worldwide system built around Kevin Perlman,
Right.
which Jason Perlman wants me to use the internet so bad. And we're just adding fuel to the fire of newer lie, and anyone can jump on this internet system and make up whatever lie. Oh, Kevin came into my store and he tried to rape me. Who knows, right?
Right. And nobody. What blows my mind, and maybe they have, but like that nobody ever fact checked or tried to look deeper.
And that's where it really gets weird, because there's a point where you say, this is just fucking absurd. It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Right? Starbucks and coffee bean alone have something like 15 accusations. They just keep changing.
Right. Exactly.
Well, doesn't that look a little shady here?
Yeah.
I mean, how many things, like when I make my jokes on my psychological rehab, I've killed over 100,000 women and I kill 10,000 women a day.
Right. Ridiculous.
I mean, that's how ridiculous they look.
Yeah.
And nobody can sit there and go, this is just fucking obnoxious.
Right.
Like, it can't,
That's
these
what
people
I'm
can't be honest people. I mean,
yeah.
how much energy must I have if I'm capable of killing 10,000 women a day?
And
It's
making
like
all these posts and living and like all these other things. Yeah, you must, never stop.
yeah, it's like, I mean, there's a point where,
ridiculous.
look, you're a fucking liar because your story keeps changing, right?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's like so fucking weird.
But I
to
think
me.
where they sort of, like, one angle I noticed is people are told to make up a lie,
Yeah.
and everyone else is told to make up the same lie. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, example, when you hear Bill Cosby roofied all these women, shit, he did all those women. I mean, it can't be a lie because all these women came forward.
Yeah.
But what if, think of the flip side.
What if
What if all
of
those
them-
women were paid off?
Right. So they'd be believed. Right?
Yeah.
Like if there's
yeah. So if every time I walk
into
into a coffee shop, a female or male employee says Kevin harassed me, and I don't even know who they are, and it's just coming.
Right.
Then the external party getting the propaganda. Well, I mean, it can't be coincidence. Kevin's just an abusive.
Right.
Example:
Oh,
when they
man.
filed the Terrence Scroggins restraining order, I didn't even know who it was from. I had so many attacks for like, it must have been about 16 years on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I had no clue who the restraining order was from, because it's like, which psychopath is crying wolf this
Right.
time,
Exactly.
right?
Did you find out who it was from?
Yeah, I mean, eventually after,
Right.
but I mean, I was in the Like, who's it from? Is it from, like, one of those 80 people there attacking me? Or is it from...
Well, the possibilities were endless.
And then they play this game like you're crazy and your mind races. No! If I keep throwing hurricanes or tornadoes at you, your mind's not racing. You're getting smacked in the face with freaking ladders and cars and trucks
with
and
all sorts of shit.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you were stuck in a hurricane and had to point out which leaf smacked you in the face,
there's no fucking way.
Right?
There's no way. No, there's so many. Exactly.
Okay, so we're getting sidetracked. Janet
Nordet.
Reel me back.
And Janet is Dad's.
Okay, and this is where things get strange because apparently I've supposedly sabotaged all my mother and father's relationships, which is odd to me. So finding out the shock things that are being said about you by your own family.
Yeah.
My father claims I did things to all of his women, his girlfriends and wives. My mother, obviously, even though she won't directly state it, I'm pretty sure they both got together making up lies. It's my fault they got divorced. Especially with my mother's weird comments that my past caught up with me, hinting that I need to move. The only thing I can relate that to is that she divorced my father when I was 13 and eventually moved to Canada with Arnold Silver after she married him.
Yeah.
And she's like, almost like, I think we have some of these conversations on video. She's trying to like, she's in denial or something.
That's what it sounds like.
And like she's trying to cope with her own divorce by saying it's my fault.
That they got divorced?
Instead of dealing with their own actions. Just like she couldn't tolerate the emotions that came up. Like maybe her walls came crashing down and she needed someone to blame it on, and maybe she blames it on I was born and my father starts in on me and I'm the bad seed, and they get in their fights about whatever. I can't tell you why they actually they supposedly got divorced because my father was controlling and he was mad at her for getting into art therapy, and so you could never make money with art or something like that. I'd have to brainstorm.
That makes sense,
and my mother felt, remember, but they're all fucking liars. Right. My mother felt that he was like hovering over and saying, belittling her, and she just said, I can't deal with this guy's too, whatever. Right. But maybe there's a part of her that said, it's Kevin's fault because my father and her labeled me as the bad seed and created this chaos in their life. But that's not my fault. I didn't label myself a monster. No, they labeled me a monster.
All. No, their parents getting divorced in no way shape.
Yeah, but in their mind,
they twist it to
cope with their denial. Okay, so that's the only thing I link to leaving the country. That and my father dating a French girl named Alexandra Cohen, which my brother and his friends didn't like.
How come?
They were just, I mean, come on, we talked about my brother and all his road rage shit and flooding houses with hinting that he's going to pop my bladder and shit. This isn't a sane person.
No, I just didn't know.
So they would like piss and shit in her convertible car. And I don't even know if it was like a red LeBaron. And now that I think about it, I think it's the same car that Corey Bixby trying to frame me drove in high school.
Good grief.
But
that's extreme.
I don't know if they actually really pissed and shit in it. They just told me
that they did.
And then Paul Humphrey, my friend, says he did it. And I'm like, I'm not going to fucking do it.
I'm not going to piss and shit in her car.
And I think, based on everything you've seen, based on Greg Waugh flip-flopping, getting mad at me for stopping my brother from hitting him in the head with a crowbar, I think they were trying to all pure pressure me
to doing it
to say it's Kevin, setting me up. Now, there's one point where I mouthed off to Alexander saying, like, nobody likes you or something like that.
Was she, like, mean? Do you remember?
She was a little weird and controlling. Like, she would run around and Kevin's friend Mike drank my clearly Canadian out of the refrigerator, and I'm like, Dad, what's wrong with this girl? Like,
right.
Like, you have a refrigerator stocked full of like 100 drinks.
Right.
Why is she spazzing out, and why is she kind of going off on Mike and this and that
Right.
for things that don't matter. And I think that kind of set the stage. Like, I think it was a long time ago. I think like my grandmother or something was like in the hospital dying or something, and she was all narcissistic, like it was about her, and so everyone's sort of getting mad at her.
Understand? Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that these are the worst things in the world. These are just
But it's
relationships.
still-
But
right.
when there's kids around and they, a lot of times, pick up on the drama,
Oh, yeah.
they spaz out, and that's just kids.
Kids are smart.
Now, so
yeah.
I'm going to say I was wrong in saying it, but let's be realistic. Just like saying fuck you to your mother,
Right.
these are things that happen every day, and you go,
Yeah.
Kevin, look, Kevin, don't say fuck you to me, and if you do it again, go to your fucking, you're grounded for a fucking
Right.
couple days or whatever.
exactly.
Okay, and it's a done
And
deal.
That's it. What did
A couple days, not like 47 years. Okay,
what did
so
you even say to this Alexandra?
that was it, and they were having an argument. My father could have just been like, look, Kevin, don't fucking say that, and it's a done deal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I have people following me around to this day in cars with Alexander plates, parking them in front of my house, and like with this,
That's
trying to
insane.
guilt me or create obsessional loopings or
yeah.
and the gang stalking tactics. Well, first, how do they have the information?
Right.
Second of all, why are they using it as a weapon to try to make me look like a violent paranoid schizo with obsession problems?
Right. Exactly.
Okay, so that's the real question.
Over these events that are like insignificant.
Sure. So then we have all my dad's girlfriends, like Shelly. This is after Janet. My father goes back to Shelly, the one he originally cheated on my mother with,
Okay.
and she says she's getting married to my dad, and she says, now you have an evil stepmother. And before I had a chance to try to sit down with her,
Yeah.
she tells her son Eric to go after me and go ballistic on me, and her mother and her stepfather just sitting there with these gang stalking tactics. And my father's whistling at me every time we watch a movie, hinting with the whistling tactic. Okay, so you don't know what's going on
Right.
because nothing's directly said about anything. But you're watching a pattern of all my and my mother's husband, Arnold Silbury, has invested insane amounts of money to rid me of the world from Canada.
Right.
And I have Paul Humphrey working some angle about cheating on, stealing people's wives when I'm 16 and growing up. Or Shannon Hess comes in my life cheating on her husband, and then the world's
Right.
told I hit her with a mask on and I'm a home wrecker
You
and
didn't know
things.
she was married, right?
Correct, but
Yeah.
remember we're talking about the reinforced
Correct. The
lies for
reinforced
stranger
lies,
after
yeah.
stranger.
All lies.
These aren't random incidences. They're all strangers coordinating these things.
Right.
They don't make any sense.
No. It's
Okay.
like the exact opposite is true of what they're saying.
Yeah, and so the more you tell them the truth, the angrier they get. You don't talk or we kill you and shit like that.
Right.
Or you're a whistleblower. Like, you're doing this for me? Okay,
Yeah.
so,
Shelly.
okay, so now we're coming back to Janet. You have the stage, the context set.
So Shelly was
My
before-
father, ironically, is marrying. We've talked about the divorce with my mother.
Yeah.
My father, everything is timed out perfectly. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
My father is marrying Janet Nordet, some girl in his office, not in his office, but doing some kind of gray area medical kickback thing that he had just went through, like some kind of 5-year court trial for.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and she's a Cuban.
Oh, this is okay.
So you're going to actually need to link that to the porn star Havana Ginger, who now calls herself Cuban Muffin, like her Twitter nickname,
Yeah.
after me buying muffins at Coffee Bean.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Cuban muffin.
Okay.
Alright. Yeah.
Now it's comical in a way, but they're doing it out of anger.
Exactly.
Okay?
Right. No, I totally get it.
Okay. Now,
She's the one who tried to kill him and went to jail?
Janet Nordet.
Yeah. Okay.
Supposedly. I'm going to put a supposedly.
Supposedly.
Okay, now think of there's a whole bunch of things, and I gotta... Okay, so... My father wants me to move into his house for a year. Why? I'm already living alone in Colorado.
Right.
Mike Huntley wants me to move back, start company with him. You've seen what Mike turned to be.
Yeah.
My mother wants me to walk to graduation before graduating just to make... for nostalgia, and these aren't the biggest deals.
Right.
And come back and take the classes and transfer the credits over. I got lawyers worldwide saying I'm a criminal because I walked the graduation
Before graduating?
before graduating, but how would they have that information?
They wouldn't.
Correct. but they do. And so we're not going to help you. Try to collect things that don't matter to justify exterminating me. My father's marrying Janet and wants me to move in right around that time.
Right.
Where he's staging all these things, how I'm trying to sabotage Janet Nordet, do all these horrible things to Janet Nordet, make Janet Nordet go crazy.
And that's your fault.
It's all my fault, like everything else.
Right.
All I did, like usual, was move in, and I was kind of isolated and kind of live my life.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even really around them much.
Right.
And Janet started off as like kind of the silicone-breasted Susie homemaker, and then she went crazier and crazier. Now, if you've been around my father and seen his abuse, you could understand how someone would go into crazy mode. But I think I sent you maybe 4 months ago, those conversations with me and Janet.
That was her that you were talking to?
The text.
About your father and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh,
She's contacting me right before, a few months before they were throwing me back in the can.
Right.
And if you look at the conversations, you can see she's trying to manipulate me to make it look like I'm going after Shane or trying to get information from Shane about my father.
Right.
So now, once again, just like my brother and Gregoire, the little Bonnie and Clyde marriage couple here with my father, we're getting married, let's bring Kevin back to fuck him over.
Right. So Janet Nordet, the one who supposedly attempted to kill your father, is your brother's mother.
Shane's, yeah.
Okay.
My younger brother. I have two brothers.
Your younger half brother's mother.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. My guess is that she never did the fucking thing to him, and they staged the whole thing because you were looking at the fucking resources.
Right.
Okay, and that's freaky to say because
yeah,
I don't want to sound like one of these dudes saying no one ever went to the moon or 911 flying planes into the Twin Towers never happened or it was a U.S. job.
Right.
But after the things I've seen around my life,
right, it's not off the table.
Most of these things are paid off people and staged. What we call in the gang stalking world is called street theater.
Street theater.
Street theater. They're dramatized events to try to get reactions or make you look a certain way. Example: if you walked into a supermarket and 10 people were told to spaz out in such ways by maybe dropping toilet paper rolls or
right
all at the same time and things that couldn't normally happen, they're trying to get you, the target, to react in such a way to use it against you.
Right.
Okay, same thing. We got Janet working with my father. I want you to pretend that this is happening and that's happening and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
I want to try to get a reaction from Kevin to go after you to protect his father.
Mm-hmm.
All the things they couldn't get from me.
Right.
But they're going to make up the cover-up lies, as you've seen, for each and everything time they try to set me up because they don't want to look like people that set people up.
Right. Exactly.
Because that in itself is criminal.
Right.
Destroying people's lives by setting people up is criminal.
Absolutely.
So they got to cover up every time they try to set me up.
Right.
They got to make up the cover-up lie. Example: Bob Sandler states in The Office, Kevin, I don't like your friend Paul, so I'm going to shut down his website account. Well, Bob,
what?
You can't shut down Paul's website account because you don't like him.
No.
Because he's a customer and pays.
Yeah.
So what do? Kevin's a piece of shit, and he shut down Paul's account.
That's bullshit.
And now everywhere I go, people play this game like,
that's bullshit.
I'm unprofessional, so if I go to a coffee shop, you can't be here because we don't like you. But what really happened was I passed the test, like usual, but they got it covered up, just like you're seeing with the court system.
Right. Oh, God, yeah.
Okay?
It's ridiculous.
But once again, this isn't one piece of shit.
No.
It's person after person after person after person until I'm dead and gone.
That's lots of pieces of shit.
Okay, so we have this situation where my father wants me to move in to make it look like I'm trying to, and Janet, make it look like I'm going after her to protect my father and destroy the relationship when she shows signs of paranoia or starting to go ballistic or anger.
Right.
Yet, like everything else, I stayed away from the entire thing. Now, my father got all crafty. Kevin, let's go out to dinner every Sunday night after I move out. And every conversation was how Janet's abusive to my father from my father. Why do you think he was doing that?
Maybe so you would react towards Janet in some type of way.
Correct. Now, we all, not only did I say 100 million times, you know, Dad, look, if Janet's actually grabbing the steering wheel of your car and trying to throw your car into a tree and all these other things like that, you need to get away from this girl. No, she can change and blah, blah, she's a really good person, blah, blah, blah. Are you fucking crazy? Whatever. Why do you think he's saying it? To try to get me to step in.
Right.
And the more I'm distancing myself, the more the lies of his get aggressive about Janet. Now, I remember sitting with him and Lorena at one of his office lunches. This was way after Janet supposedly went to jail. Going, you know, you said this about... He had several lies in this one lunch. First, he says, Kevin, remember when you lit the hill back on fire when you were a kid?
And that wasn't you.
And that wasn't me. That was Jason and Richard Grunberg.
Right.
When I'm really starting to understand my father's pathological lying abilities, and how it just goes from thing to thing, and watching people run around saying I've supposedly done this, and I have anger issues. And then he says, we talk about my wrestling, and he says, yeah, I remember I used to like go to all your wrestling matches. You went to one wrestling match only. Ever. And I didn't say this, but it was like the Alamany tournament or something, and in that wrestling match, the one wrestling match, I'm not 100% sure, but I think the one wrestling match my father went to, the Agura kid died.
What?
My coach had us go to Agura to train on a couple, the Agura High School on a couple of occasions, and they they had me train with the one kid that was like an all-state pro fucking wrestler, like, and I was really shitty, but I sort of practiced with him.
Yeah.
Okay, so we go to the Alamany tournament, I think it was the Alamany tournament, and he wins in his weight class. I was a different weight class, I think. Maybe I was the same for a while, I don't know, but he wins, like, that tournament in his weight class, and then he keels over and dies.
That same day?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, like on the mat. Like he wins and then his heart goes out or something and he dies.
Holy shit.
Now, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that... I know 100% that my father only went to one. And he lied right there.
Did you say that to him at the table? That, Dad, you only went to one?
Correct, and he lied. And he just said, no, I went to all of them. Okay, and...
Holy crap.
And I think it's a little... I'm not 100% sure, but I think I'm like 70% sure that the only match my father went to as a kid that died that I trained with, like, not trained with, but one or two times.
Did you see him, like, die?
I just saw him on the mat, and I saw the paramedics come in, and it could have been staged, now that I think about it. The whole thing could have been staged.
That's crazy.
Right? Okay, so, because you're at a distance. So maybe he's just lying there playing dead, and they come in and they wheel him out, and you'd never know, right? Okay, whatever.
Crazy.
What was the next lie? Oh, I go, Dad, so you know, we somehow shift topics. I'm not in really lie detector mode or anything, and I shift topics, and I said, you know, remember when Janet grabbed your steering wheel and threw your car? Because that's what he told me.
Right.
No, she did? Okay, well,
Really?
You know what? If your fucking wife grabbed the fucking steering wheel of your car and tried to throw you into a fucking tree, you don't forget that shit.
No.
Okay, so he's a fucking liar. So the point is that he's trying to sort of rile me up in these Sunday dinners at Houston's, hinting about Jen Hess, who they paid off to hunt me down and exterminate me. That they're trying to cover up desperately with law enforcement, who they claim I hit in the face with a mask on and shit like this.
Weird.
He's trying to rile me up to go after Janet, blah, blah, blah. Fails. Like usual, fails. And the more I move out and away, the more he's trying to reel me back to get me pissed off at her. Eventually, they go south. She tells the police, supposedly, that he tried to hit her, or he had hit her.
Janet?
Yeah. My father had to move out of his house for a year. She had the house.
Really?
She never had bruises.
Mm-hmm.
They never filed charges, I think, but they said, you know, you gotta stay away from this girl.
Mm-hmm.
There were restraining orders. She also at the same time was having Shane.
Mm.
I go to bail my father out. I hop in my car to drive down to Lost Hills police station. Magically, no, you don't need to come because she's picking me up to get me out.
What the fuck?
Right, something's not right here. It's almost like I don't want
That's
you
weird.
to see me in jail, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because maybe he's not in jail.
Right.
Okay,
That's weird.
so, and why would she be the one?
Exactly.
Okay, so,
She wouldn't.
yeah, so anyways, to make a long story short, she supposedly did all these things like come down to my father's office, and the office employees, just like me, were calling the police saying she did this, she did that. But I've been in that office for 14 years, was the nicest person known to man, went out of my way for these people, devoted my life for these people, worked all day and night 24/7 to get these people running and stabilized, and no matter what you did, I'm going to hunt down and kill Kevin. No communication, no dialogue. It's all about them. There's no middle ground.
Right.
If you blink wrong while minding your own business and they're spying on your computer activity or whatever, they're taking turns in anger and rage with worldwide groups.
Right.
Anything, if you're pushed in a position where you try to defend yourself, say anything, it's twisted and contorted with the police and government. By the way, a lot of the things that were going on in jail in this arrest were linked to hints about my father's office, to try to cover up my father's crime spree. The point is that I have been in that office for 14 years, watched pretty much worldwide murder operations with 28 psychotic employees, and a father saying, I can't fire any of my employees because I could get sued, even though they're following you from place to place, trying to fucking wipe you off the planet.
Oh, I would fire.
Not that I ever asked him to.
Right.
Well, he tried to say, Kevin, what do you want me to do to try to get me to say something like, I think I'm the boss. I watched setups with my father's friend Debbie Groveman trying to tell me to take over the company and get rid of Lorena, and my father didn't think that was wrong.
Right.
I watched endless stalking things with Lorena herself. I watched Lorena come out asking me questions in front of my father if I have violent thoughts working with the police and my father.
Weird.
They're not doing anything wrong. I'm the bad guy. And then when I start working from either coffee shops or home, they get even angrier.
Right.
We don't want you in the office, even though at first it was I want to be there 9 to 5, and if anything goes wrong, I want to help you.
Absolutely.
And then it's we don't want you in the office because no actual reason, we just don't like you.
And
then it switches to, oh, it's your armpits, which they sent me to pit, chest, waist-side. She sent me little threat messages.
Right.
We had that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so...
That's so weird.
So...
Did they get upset then because you weren't in the office and there was something about the server or something they couldn't log in?
You know what? There's 100,000 things.
Okay.
100,000 things. It was minute by minute.
Yeah.
And when I was in the office minding my own business, because you're not always working on shit.
Right.
You're just there for them, and maybe I'm working on my own shit.
Yeah.
And they're walking behind me. You see the surveillance video of them walking behind me. Yes, yes, yes. Hey, hey, hey.
Mm-hmm.
X-ray tech walk by every 10 minutes and whistle. This went on
I
minute by minute, just like your parking lot here and in your office here for 14 years nonstop. And then maybe I drive out to Malibu and linked events and Vegas and Florida, all linked events.
Yeah.
Minute by minute. They didn't do anything wrong. Tracking, hacking all my passwords. You've seen the passwords coming from strangers worldwide.
Yeah.
My passwords stalked to show that they're stalking me. George in the office kept getting the newer and newer administrative passwords, and he would hint that he knows it. They were crippling all of the servers. I kept fixing the servers.
Right.
They had insane worldwide attacks from the outside, all directed with Lorena Escobar trying to make it look like I'm incompetent. If I tighten up security, Kevin's blocking us and stopping us from working, even though they could work fine. I can sit here and talk to you for a year straight about that alone.
Right.
But we're running here on time.
When did you start realizing, like when you started working there, did you start to notice these things right away? Like at your desk?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like right when I walked in the door. But remember that it starts with Mike Huntley at 29.
Right.
this is about 4 years later.
Oh, okay.
There's a worldwide attack. How do you, once again, who's it coming from? Where's it coming from?
Right, how do you make sense of it?
Yeah. And so I knew that they were involved.
Yeah.
But who specifically and what it's about, and it's worldwide.
Right.
Okay, the bottom line is the same things. I'm the only guy that has morals and ethics, and I'm being hunted with worldwide support. But Janet's the evil person, and she needs to go to jail.
Right.
Well, same with Kevin. Okay, and they're fabricating all these lies.
Right.
And they're trying to set up and frame and fabricating lies with the police. Okay, so the bottom line is, because we're running short on time, Janet ends up going to jail for solicitation to commit murder against my father, and I can't remember exactly. At one point, after Shane is born, they're separated. Janet claims that people are following her around or things like this. Mm-hmm. The same types of things they did with Alita, a black girl in my father's office, trying to pretend she's paranoid and trying to befriend me to try to set me up and frame me with the black community. Janet supposedly contacts her son. Her son Mario has been in and out of jail.
Oh, she has an older son too?
She has several kids, but not with my father. Mario's not with my father.
Okay, yeah.
She contacts like a guy named Tyrell or something. Mm-hmm. Mario's friend from jail. Or Mario went to jail, he had a friend that got out of jail. This is all what I've been told.
Hearsay, yeah.
Hearsay.
Okay.
Tyrell calls my father up on the phone saying, Dr. Perlman, I have vital information about your life, and if you pay me like $20,000, I'll tell you what it is. Well, the first thought in my mind is, if you're trying to help out my father, why are you blackmailing him for information?
Right. Exactly.
Something already doesn't sound right with this scenario.
No, not at all.
Right? My father tells me he pays Tyrell or whatever, and Tyrell supposedly has like recordings or maybe just dialogue, I'm not exactly sure,
of her saying
of Janet saying that she wants him to kill my father. Okay. Already, why is the guy asking for money doesn't make any sense.
He's like he's blackmailing him too.
Correct.
Exactly.
Okay, so now supposedly, let's get past all the things. Janet supposedly goes to jail for 3 years.
Who has
Big
Shane?
on the threes too.
Who watched Shane when she was in jail?
I don't know. I think my father probably got custody at that point.
Okay.
Maybe he made up a lie to get custody. I can't tell you.
I didn't know if he lived with you or no.
No. I mean,
okay.
no. Now Shane's been brainwashed to think that I'm the evil devil child. So since birth, so I don't. Where am I going with this?
I'm sorry. You said that she went to jail for 3 years, and that's where you
correct. And I've looked it up on the computers, and she does have a
history.
A conviction on her name. But remember, the amount of resources here, they can wipe convictions, or I mean, they're destroying my records, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's people involved high up that can actually create these records if they want.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it's like you can't trust anything.
Correct. So now, don't you think it's strange that they put me in jail right now and people keep telling me, random stranger after stranger, all over from downtown LA, fucking Long Beach, Kevin, you need to kill your father and take care of your shit.
That's really fucking strange.
And most of these guys aren't murderers. They're fucking like people who've been addicted to fucking crystal meth and shit with no teeth and.
Right. I think it's really weird that they.
Correct. Do you see a pattern here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, of trying to get me to be Kevin's schizo, and he's like Janet. He thinks he's Janet, and the same lies. Janet suffers from split personality disorder, and when she gets mad, her face changes. My father said that about her, and he's spewing the same bullshit about me. The same template, the same Lorraine Escobar and Ron Perlman extermination template onto me. Trying to get me to make it look like I'm going after my father. The same thing. Lorraine Escobar was making up lies when I worked there. Kevin's in here. He's trying to take over the company. You hired me. No, I didn't. LC Sandoval making up lies. I hit her. I didn't fucking hit you. What are you talking about?
Ridiculous. You would never.
Correct.
Unless you're literally defending yourself. Like if she was coming at you.
Correct,
with
but
a knife.
nothing even came close.
No, exactly. It's crazy. You would not ever like show violence like that unless it was like to protect yourself.
Correct.
Like self-defense. Ever.
Okay, and the same template. This Kevin's schizo, Kevin's split personality, Kevin's
Ridiculous.
this same exact template. Now we're in jail, and it's Kevin, you need to kill your father. Well, this entire thing is Kevin came back from Colorado, and he came after me, and he moved into my office building with Mike Huntley for Signity Services. I didn't move in your office. You came to me saying Shelly moved out of her office. Do you want this great, phenomenal price on Ventura
Right.
Boulevard to be above your office in the building you owned?
Right.
And then they jacked into the hub. Mike jacked into the hub with them so they could put shit on my computer. And then when I was in the office, they jacked... Okay, so anyways, I could rattle on forever on this. The point is that here we are. Once again, Janet's going to jail, who just came into my father's life. And then Kevin, my father reels me in. And then Kevin's... Okay, and now, once again, just like Gregoire... Okay, I'm just going to reiterate this. Why are people telling me I need to go after my father like Necron 99?
I don't know.
And we sort of discussed that we're trying to make it look like Kevin's a schizo who conforms to media.
Right.
And the Wizards movie in 1977. Now, it's not just that one movie they're working on me with. There's things in all sorts of movies taken from my life to try to
make it
look like I'm crazy and a violent paranoid schizo. And people like Brian Longbotham, that did jobs in Universal Studio trying to frame me in front of Wes Craven, all linked to my childhood and things like this. What?
I said right. It's
ridiculous.
So
it's
crazy.
It's not... Okay, so anyways...
It's not one thing.
It's not one thing, but...
Not even close.
To sum it all up, now we're back to the Gregoire scenario where we find out Gregoire was working with my brother. You saw the screenshots of the Janet Nordet text from about 4 months ago.
Right.
Trying to manipulate me to make it look like I'm trying to sort of weasel back into...
Yeah.
I don't want to say back into, weasel into Shane's life to get information about my father to make it look like I'm a stalker.
Right.
But wait, wouldn't the girl that went to jail...
Right.
If my father fucked her over and she went to jail for 3 years, why would she want to set me up for my father?
I don't know.
Unless 90% of what I've been told about them is bullshit and they're both working the Bonnie Clyde.
Right. It's,
good cop, bad cop. Oh, poor me, Kevin, can you help me go kill your father type of thing?
It's just crazy. Yeah, because...
You know what I'm saying?
In her messages, it was like flip-flopping because then she was talking shit about your dad in one part of it, and then it was just weird.
Like everything in those... Okay, so Janet Nordet messages me on Facebook before they throw me back in, and she also calls me up on the phone trying to get information right before the original arrests.
No way.
The case. So she has a pattern of behavior working with my father and the police. Mm-hmm. Also getting me to move in my father's house to get me back from University of Colorado to try to frame me. With my father, working together. Everything they're spewing my way is just ways to try to get me to set me up.
Right.
She messages me on Facebook. They're all screen captured. Brittany has seen them. And she says she's trying to get information like, oh, your father's crazy, blah, blah, blah. Maybe you should talk to Shane about this. Maybe. Listen, and I say to Janet in the text, I don't want to talk to Shane. Mm-hmm. I've known you for X amount of years, and you lived in that house. Why don't you tell me the bullshit that my father's saying about me?
Right.
From you. I don't want to hear about Shane.
Right.
No, he's never said a thing. Bullshit.
Weird.
Okay, you should ask Shane about that.
Yeah.
You should, I think first she starts, you should reunite with Shane and you should talk to your father because he's getting old.
It's weird. It's just the whole
Why does she care?
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly. And that's And they still talk?
Well, the supposedly they don't. Only when they have to. But
Right.
but yet here she is playing middleman to
Right.
set me up. Why does she care? Right before I'm getting arrested. Right before they're going to resentence me. Why does she care?
There's no reason.
Right before Seymour intentionally loses the appeals. Why does she care? And
It doesn't make sense.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't make any sense unless you're paid off or you're involved in something, trying to cover something up.
Right.
Okay, so I want you to contact Shane. You know, you should contact Shane. You can ask Shane what. Janet, I don't want to contact. Oh, first she starts off. You know, Shane hasn't seen you in a while, and you should talk to Shane. And I say to Janet, I'm not talking to Shane. Shane knows what he's been involved in, and if he wants to talk to me, he can approach me like a man.
Yeah.
Tell me he's sorry, and tell me what the fucking problem is.
Right.
And if he doesn't tell me what this is about and the problem is with an apology, then we have nothing to talk about.
Right.
Period. I'm not going to be manipulated or weaseled or befriended or this or that.
Right.
He can come to me like a fucking man, and he can say, look, Kevin, I'm sorry, and your father's crazy, and he said these things, and blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to him.
Right.
Okay? He took part in this.
Did he ever
I
come
cut him
to
off.
you? Has he ever, like, reached out?
No. There were several things that happened that every time I'd go... Now, first, I have to be fair to Shane that he was young.
Yeah.
He believed what he was told.
Yeah.
And you're going to believe what you're told starting
little,
at
yeah.
5 years old
Right.
and getting to 18 or... I probably stopped talking to him at 14 or 15.
Okay.
So that elastic mind and you believe your father and blah, blah,
Right.
blah. Okay, that's going to happen. Okay, there's a point where my father wanted him to work in the office, and I was working in the office. He lasted like a day and a half. He worked in the file room where I worked when I was 16, where my father was making up lies. I stole $10,000 from him. He said, Kevin, hang out with Shane, take him to lunch, sure. I'm obviously being mentally battered in the office. I say, Shane, I don't want to say anything negative. I'm just I could tell he was sort of acting out with the shit he was told, provoking me, and I just said, Shane, I'm just going to say this, because I didn't want to say any specifics. I didn't want to...
Yeah.
I wanted him to learn for himself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
I can't tell you that this person is a bad person.
Right.
Because it's hearsay, or
you
might not believe it. You have to learn for yourself.
Make your own decision, yeah.
But I said, Shane, I just want to say one thing to you. You're young. You don't understand. Sometimes there are people that aren't good people, and they say things that aren't true because they don't like other people, and just understand that, and don't instantly believe what people tell you.
You hear. Yeah.
Okay, just don't.
That's actually.
He lasted maybe another day, and then he quit.
Okay.
And for all I know, my father's running around saying I butt raped Shane. I don't fucking know.
Right. No, that was like a good big brother
Yeah, that's
talk,
it. I didn't say anything specific. I didn't say anything about Lorraine, anything in the office, anything about my father, anything about Shelley.
Right. Well, you just told him to make your own
I just
decisions.
said, don't instantly believe.
Right. Everything you hear.
And I put heavy emphasis on that.
Yeah.
Okay. And,
which is like a good moral to have, honestly.
yeah, and I think later on, like maybe a year later, he was texting me, but his texts were the abusive spy game, terror, torture tactics. And I said definitely like Jason or something like that. And that was the last.
Okay.
I never heard from him again. I never
reached out.
Yeah, because there's no point.
Right.
Until he realizes what he's involved in,
and
can be a man. That's the knock.
Just a minute.
So our time's up here. Sorry. And to sum that all up, here's Janet.
Right.
Maybe 5 years later, trying to make it look like I'm stalking Shane for information about my father. Right before they send me in jail, what people telling me I need to... Oh, and she's also telling me I need to reunite with my father.
Just weird.
And people in jail are telling me that I need to go after and kill my father. Not one, stranger after stranger in different dorms and cells.
Yeah.
What do you think would happen if I were to call up my father and say, Dad, I'm sorry, and you're getting old, and Kevin's stalking his father. Kevin's going to kill his father, right? We're trying to set that stage.
Right, exactly. That's so weird to me. Like, were you weirded out in there when people kept saying repeatedly?
No, because I've dealt with it for 18 years.
Right.
18/42 years.
So you see through the shit.
And I see it instantly. I can read the entire room. I can see what fish they're sending in.
Yeah.
I can see the hidden messages they're putting up on the walls and this and that, on the beds. I can see what's planned out and that they were always going to put me in that jail cell for a reason.
It's just like...
And no matter how many times I call the bluff or just say it, they just keep
doing
getting angrier and angrier and coming in larger and larger groups.
Right.
And that's a lot of billions of dollars to invest in a guy.
A lot.
For no reason at all.
Right.
Zero
reason.
Yeah, and I know you have to go, but any iterations on any of this, like maybe their motive, what you think?
I think what you said to Shane is like the best possible thing to like reiterate is like make your own decisions. Like you don't know that everything that you hear about everything is fucking true.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like I know you.
Yeah.
Like if somebody were to come up to me and say some shit like that, I'd be like, you're fucking ridiculous. Like I know Kevin. No, all these things you're hearing are is bullshit. What you're saying is a lie. Like seriously.
Yeah.
You know?
And I made those mistakes when my father kept babbling about Janet. I instantly believed him.
Right.
And when Jason kept, well, no, I was gonna say when Jason says things about Alexandra, but he didn't really say anything tangible. He just said I don't like her. Or whatever.
But you question, like, you know, like at the time.
That's part of growing up. I mean, most youth are manipulated.
It's true.
Based on the things they're told, they instantly believe it. That's just part of.
But
of growing up. But there's a point where.
Right, you question.
I mean, once I realized that everything my father was saying was pathological lies, and my mother and my brother, and it's based on manipulation. So any thought on the whole jail and I have to kill my father, because this isn't fuck around information. This is what the police are trying to do to me.
That's
to frame me that way. Remember, the police claimed that I supposedly killed someone, and then they reversed it, even on paperwork. The guy that attacked me, they reversed it saying, then I witnessed a murder. Everything they write on their police reports are fabricated to try to make me look like I'm crazy or committed a crime.
Exactly. No, they twist things and they claim that you started these things and blah, 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 or you instigate whatever, which is all complete bullshit.
Yeah, and even if there's video of it.
Exactly,
yeah.
And I've witnessed it, like, firsthand, too.
So I think this is an important topic. Anything about the whole, I'm going after my father.
I think that's, like, awful. It's, and just me, I guess, who is not so, like, aware of all this shit. If I were to hear that multiple times, I'd be like, what the fuck? These people are fucking crazy. Like, they want me to kill them.
And there's a whole worldwide group saying I'm violent paranoid schizo and trying to manipulate in these Kevin's going after people. Kevin's a stalker.
Right. They're trying to get you to appear like you're going to go after. And if you, like you said, reunite with him on the phone, call him up, then they're going to spin that. Like, now he's trying to get close to his dad so he can kill him. Yeah, because they have women come in my life, and then I'm stalking them somehow. And anything, any harmless event in my life is equal to. Remember, we're talking about how everything goes from you farted wrong to by farting you try to gas people to death and kill them. Right.
Okay, well, in my life, if I date a girl, and let's say Jen S. She's running around saying she's pregnant with my baby, so I go down to her house, and it turns out her house isn't her house. She fucked me in her friend's house or whatever.
Oh my god.
And then I'm stalking her and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Well, how am I stalking a girl?
Right, who just said she's pregnant with my baby?
That I fucked, and all I want to do is say, well, what the fuck's going on here? And because I talked to her and called her bluff, I'm stalking her and I tried to kill her and I did this and I'm doing that. And then, I'm sorry, I know you have a, this is pretty important.
Yeah.
Then what they do with strippers, okay, Jen Hess lives down in Torrance or by LAX. Mm-hmm. Okay, so first they have Rhodey take me. Now, Rhodey comes in maybe 3 years after.
Yeah.
They take me to Rhino, and then I talked about the whole Alexis Amore and them trying to make it look like I'm stalking Alexis Amore in LA by them LA Rhino calling me up and saying, check our computers. Mm-hmm. Then
1 second. Sorry.
Then shit.
What time is it?
It
can't be that late.
1:08.
Okay.
Okay, so then shit. Okay, so Jen Hess Stripper Venice says I worked down at Bear Elegance by LAX airport.
Mm-hmm.
And it turned out she didn't, but she wanted me to get me down close to Jen Hess. Then I started connecting the dots. I mentioned something about Jen Hess to a stripper named Mila. Mm-hmm. Then, in order to cover it up, they say I'm going down to LA area to hunt down and try to kill Jen Hess.
Ridiculous.
Now, all these things are linked to Prosecutor Crean T. Phillips and the cover-ups with LAPD. Okay, so we have to cut it short and end this, but I just want you to see that the same pattern of behavior, I'm going after my father, I'm going after Jen Hess's cover-ups, I'm going after everyone,
right,
are all police cover-ups and setup and frame jobs for whatever their extermination motive is in the first place.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's
So by asking Jen Hess about, what's going on with this baby, what the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
I'm trying to kill her or something.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay.
Just
So we
trying
got
to get information, see if it's your baby, or whatever.
Yeah, or just figure out what the fuck is going on with the girl.
That's like a very normal reaction.
Yeah.
By the way.
Okay. So that's it. We got a pissed off client here. We're 8 minutes over. Okay. So till next time. Blah blah blah.